Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille. Today is 8th of August 2020. Welcome to video number 225. I was always fascinated with one simple thing. The more you understand about something, the more you can do something about it. And today's video is gonna basically be like a deep dive into one of the most interesting things that I found in context of relationships. And it's the truth that you can be always right and always wrong at the same time. And how, if you understand what does it really mean, if you shift the paradigm or shift the way you think and you interact with people, you'll see completely different world, completely different kind of relationship building based on that. So let's start from the beginning. Why would I ever say that you can be always right and always wrong? And you've got to understand one thing, that everything that you kind of face in life is your opinion. Because there's a very simple truth that it's kind of hiding in understanding how relationship and how conversation or kind of interactions work with it in between people. And let me kind of tell you about it based on a simple example. Basically yesterday and today during the night and in the beginning of the day, it was raining. So let's say yesterday it was raining. And you can have two people who are looking at this simple fact that it was raining and have completely opposite reaction to what happened. And you can even have two people who are living in the same household and having completely opposite kind of emotional reaction to this fact. Because if you're a guy, you might say, this is complete disaster because it ruined my weekend because I wanted to go hiking or go fishing, and it was raining and I was not able to do that, even though we planned that for a month. But at the same time, you can have your wife, and she'll say, "Oh, that was so awesome that it started to rain," and you say, "Why would you even say that? What pushed you to have this kind of opinion?" And then you can argue about it. But the problem is that the fact is very simple. It was raining. But the result is that from my perspective, and because of perspective, my plans for this weekend, that was terrible. But maybe from her perspective, having a garden and struggling with watering all the plants, the 1 or 2 days of rain, it's basically a bliss. Because it'll just put water into the ground much better than her showering it all day long. And then she'll say, "Listen, that's a very good thing for the plants because they rejuvenate itself, and the whole garden will look beautiful." And that was exactly what I needed because I wanted it to be looking this way, whatever. And then you can see that the same fact can be seen by two different people from completely different perspective. And even though those two people can be together. So first of all, you've got to figure it out, that everything that you stumbled upon and your reaction to it, what you think or feel about it, is your own opinion because it is based on your own plans and if that thing will help you or stop you from achieving them. But someone else might have completely different opinion about that because they have completely different plans. So thing number 2 is, how do you have to change the way you think about talking to people and having interactions with people to use this knowledge that I can be always right from my perspective and always wrong from perspective of someone else? Because then it changes completely how I would talk to other people. And you would be surprised how making this small change would change your interactions with them. Because first of all, we need to understand, you stop forcing others to look at this from your perspective. You stop saying that my perspective, I'm always right. Even though you do, because from your perspective, your emotional reaction, or not really emotional reaction to whatever happened, is true for you. But if you understand that someone else might have a different opinion, or different perspective because of having completely different plans, then you'll start to understand that it's not about trying to prove someone else that they're wrong, but it's rather trying to understand what is their perspective. And this is an amazing thing and kind of very interesting, because from that moment in time, at least what I did when I understood that, is that I start asking questions. Whatever we were talking with some of my friends, whatever, and then someone, or even I say something that I believe in, and they say, I completely disagree with you, and I never attack them and try to say, no, you're wrong or whatever. I always ask them, why would you think it, this way, that that you don't agree, that you disagree with it? What is your experience that brought you to the conclusion that you have, which is completely opposite to mine? And this is interesting, because if you start to see how it works in an environment, social environment, including your relationship, including your family, including your wife and your kids, you start to see that everyone who is asked about their opinion without feeling that they are attacked, they start, seeing you as a friend, because you're kind of really interested in their own point of view. And that completely changes and shifts how you see people and how people see you. And it's just a matter of you understanding the rule that I can be always right and always wrong at the same time. Then you do that shift in the way the way you interact with people, because you start asking them questions about what they think and what is their perspective, rather than proving them or trying to prove that they're wrong, which they're not from their perspective. But then interesting thing that will happen to you, point number 3, is how your relationship will change. Because not only you'll start to see that you'll have a better relationship with everyone, because as they always say, everyone will gladly kind of talk about themselves. So what are you supposed to do to make that happen? Just ask them a question what they think, and they'll tell you. That's simple. And then your interactions with other people will be much better. You'll see that everyone is your friend, because you're not able to nothing shocks you, nothing makes you angry or struggling, because you always, every time someone has different opinion, you just ask them a question, why do they think this way? Social interactions, completely different story. But then interesting thing, you will start to understand that every time someone is getting emotional about something and start to prove to you that you're wrong, that you're seeing that you don't understand it, you start to see that they're just simply immature, because they don't understand this simple rule that you can be right and can be wrong at the same time, because my perspective might be completely different than yours. But how is that making it a wrong perspective? You know what I'm saying? So then you will start to see that if you both understand it in your relationship, taking it back to the platform of your relationship, you will stop arguing. Because basically what will happen, you understand that any time you react emotionally to something, it just proves that you're immature. Because what you're supposed to do is ask the other person what's their perspective on the subject. And then if you understand it, both of you, when you start to argue, then you'll say, yeah, I don't want to be seen as immature. So that's why I'm going to control my emotions. Because not controlling your emotions is basically immaturity. That's simple. And then, taking a little segue here, every time that you will see what happens right now in the world, that people in massive groups screaming at each other, trying to prove that the other side is wrong, it's simply stupidity. Because your perspective might be different than others, and you screaming at someone, it's not going to change their mind, and it's not going to prove that their perspective is wrong, because from their perspective it's right. But I'm digressing. So this is what I want you to kind of take from this video. That the baseline for everything in life is to understand how the thing works. Because if you understand how something works, can have control over it, and you can do something about it. So that's why the major thing that you need to understand about communications, about being in social group, is to understand that you can be always right and always wrong at the same time. So what you need to do is change your approach to how you talk to people, from attacking them, saying that they're wrong, to asking them a question, what is their perspective? Because then what you'll start to see that you are capable of talking to everyone. You are capable to have conversation, and every time you talk to them, the longer you're with them, the more you learn about them, and the more you're able to basically be the one who is able to some degree, foresee how people will react, because you know who they are, just by asking questions. And that applies to your relationship, and you understand, if you apply it, how it completely changes your relationship with your girl. So that's why think about it and do something about it. Because the baseline to being someone who is having control on whatever happens is to understand how things work. And in this time, what we basically learned is that you can be right and you can be wrong at the same time. But there's a way to thrive in this new paradigm of social interactions. If you liked this video, like, share, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think and what is your experience and your perspective on the subject. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, just give me a shout and I'll be glad to do it for you. And that being said, as always, see you tomorrow.